Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, I was wanting Honda and fix the Kickstarter, but the parts that I got in were not the right parts. So we're back on the YL2C. We're going to pull the head and the cylinder off, check the rings. Well, if I've got the right rings, we're going to replace them. Give it a quick hone, measure it up, whatever we need to do. We'll just see. You know, if we don't get in there, we don't know whether we've got everything we need. So let's press on with that. Hey, I also had one gentleman tell me that my cylinder head was on upside down, and I just want you to look at it here. According to what he said, the flat edge fins go down. Flat edge fins. Okay, I am assuming this is what he's talking about, and if that's true, then it is on correct. But if that gentleman will get back to me, because when he told me about it when I was doing the clutch, and it didn't have a real good picture, I don't think, of it. But this is where it is right now. And I'm getting ready to take it off, and I want to put it back on correct. So if that gentleman will get back with me and let me know whether or not this is correct, or whether, you know, maybe this side goes, I don't know. It's been years since I've been in one of these. I can't remember anything, and I don't remember that at all. So let me know if you would, please. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, I just that's a new one on me, but I'm sure that he's correct. I'm probably just not seeing what he's seeing. We'll probably give this a quick sandblast too to clean it all up. Okay, this is how it come off with this here down. So I'm not real sure what he's talking about. All right, got all my washers and nuts accounted for. Let me get you over here. I don't know whether that light is probably glaring a little bit. There's our head gasket there, if I can get a hold of it. Okay. Well, it's not exactly loose, so let's see if we can break it loose a little bit. It's loose, there we go. This thing is wanting to turn on me. Sorry guys, I just wanted to give you a shot of the rings back here. And you can tell it's had a little blow by. You can see the blackness on on the piston there, so it probably is in need of some rings. Let's go ahead and get this off. Yeah, had quite a bit of blow by. And you know, a lot of it I think was probably, you can see how far down it goes here, and it's actually the same on the back side. I'm thinking that's from crank seals more than anything, but we've got that in, so that should be fixed there. So we'll just have to see if I've got all the stuff I need for this, so we can get it put back together. Hopefully we can get done with it today. I hate to, I'm just going to stuff some paper towels down in there to keep me from dropping anything in there that I shouldn't drop in there. And let me go ahead and see if I can get a keeper removed here. Okay, get that out. And I just wonder how this is going to treat me here. Yeah, I'm going to have to get the puller. Let me get set up. All right, got our piston pin puller. I went ahead and pulled the other clip on the other side. It's these small ones, you've just about got to have them both out. And I think I've got the right adapter here. Yep, all right. Let's it's not terrible tight, but it's, you're not going to push it out by hand. Been in there for 50 years, I would imagine. And just see if this puller adapter pulls all the way through the bearing. Sometimes they get stopped there on some of them. I think it's going okay. Yeah, I believe we're done. Yeah, looks okay. Rod looks good in there. Get this, get the pin off the puller here. Yeah, feels okay. I don't feel anything other than just a little bit of carbon there. So, yeah, all you feel is just this discoloration. So hopefully we can get back in there with the same bearing and everything, bearing and pin. And if the piston's in good shape. But you can see there, let's see, this is the intake side here, and this is, you know, of course, a rotary valve. So this area is not quite as black down as far as this area, and the rings, you know, that bottom one is kind of stuck. Yeah, that's probably a lot of the reason right there, is it's stuck. It doesn't want to come up right here. It's loose on this side. I think it'll come out all right, but that's probably the reason for the blow-by, is this bottom ring wasn't expanding out. Okay, let's just see if it'll, I don't think it's stuck real bad. I just got a little awl here under it, and we'll see if we can just push it past it and pull it up. Yep, there it broke. Yeah, it's okay. I'll stick myself with this awl here in a minute. Yeah, it was stuck pretty good right there, evidently. I'm going to have to try to get that loose. See if we can get the other one off. Okay. Yeah, it's really stuck in there. Let me do a little soaking, and maybe we'll apply a little heat. We'll see. Okay, I've got it over here in my copper jaws and it's not held in there very tight. And I'd put a little bit of Kroll on it to see if it would help it release. And I'm just going to take a very small punch here and see if I can move it. Yeah, okay. There you go. There we go. Okay, so we've got that one out. Hope we got the right one for it. And we'll have to check and make sure these are, go ahead and clean this up, and then we'll make sure that the groove, before we put new rings in it, is big enough to accept that new ring. Let me just, let's see here, that's where we were right there, I think, wasn't it, right? Yeah, it was right there. Let me grab those other rings and let's just see if they... Yeah, it fits okay there. But we're gonna clean it all up anyhow. That should do the job. It actually feels like it's plenty tight in the cylinder, but we'll go ahead and measure it up anyhow. Okay, we got a lot of carbon on top here. We'll kind of start there. Well, that's some pretty hard carbon. Yeah, cleaned up pretty good on top. We're going to take a little, this is gently, very gently, little pressure along the side. There was quite a bit built up here on the exhaust side. And this is just discoloration here, but there was actually carbon there. This is a very fine wire that I use. I think it's the finest that you can get. So if you're doing what I'm doing here, you want to make sure that yours is the fine wire, not the coarse wire, because coarse will cause damage to your piston. No damage here. There's no difference. You know, all it takes off is the carbon. And then if you want to kind of finalize things, you can use your Scotch-Brite, but that actually I think would take more off than the wire. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Go ahead and clean this up in soap and water. Okay, then with the broken off piece of your ring, you can go back in here and scrape that ring groove out. You can remove all the carbon. You can see it getting shiny up inside there. You can remove the carbon that would be underneath it when you put a new one on, and from the sides, because it's just the ideal fit. So don't throw your old rings out in case you need to break one in order to clean the groove. Okay, let me go continue that. Okay, you can see here in the head we got a lot of carbon buildup up close to the plug, and there's quite a bit out here too, but it's seems to really be caking here. I think that's from the older oil more than anything. Slow riding and a lot older oil. So I'll get all that cleaned up. I'll run the head itself through a bead blaster, and then we'll check the surface finish, and we'll do all the same to the cylinder. Yep. And I was lucky here, I think, because all the gasket came loose on the cylinder itself, so that makes it a little easier to get off. I'm going to check the ones I've got and make sure they're correct ones first, though. You know, either way, I'll either have to make one or I'll have them, one or the other. Another thing, I just took the piston and put it in a little container of lacquer thinner, and see, that will take off most of the discoloration, and hoping it'll get up here into the pins too and get that loose. So ideally, you know, the new pin should pretty much just slide in, but I think that was the reason why it took a puller to get it out. Anyway, we'll set that in there for a while and see if it'll clean up pretty good. Then it'll go in the ultrasonic cleaner with some soap and water. Okay, we're going to give this a light hone. It probably needs a rebore, but it's close enough that we're not going to worry about it. I didn't hear any noise when I was, and especially with one ring messed up. Let me get my gloves here. With that one ring stuck, and it still wasn't noisy, and we had it running at a pretty high RPM there when we were first checking it out. Yeah, I think that's probably enough. All we're doing is breaking the glaze. We don't want to remove a lot of metal. Okay, just chase the plug threads there just to make sure everything's good. Yeah, what happened to my... There. Well, that should be good. Oh yeah. Okay. Next thing we need to do is check the surface of the head, and we'll do it to the cylinder also. Okay, let's check the flatness here of the cylinder head. Get a little soap and water on my surface plate here. I've applied some magic marker to the bottom. Well, just the weight of the head, of course, is it. Kind of a figure eight, one time one way, one time another. Yeah, we need to work on it a little bit. This is 400 wet and dry sandpaper. Yeah, that looks like it's cleaning up pretty good. Just got a little bit. It's kind of got some scratches right there and a little one there. I believe, let's see. Yeah, this end actually had some greasy stuff right here. So that was probably caused by these. So we're going to try to get as much of that out as we can. Yeah, got most of it out. I think anything that is there will be under the compression ring, or the compression ring will be beyond that. So I think it'll be okay. It's a lot better than it was. I like that. Okay, let's get ready to do the cylinder. Oh, that's really nice. Got one little kind of spot right there. I wonder what that's from. Let's do it a little more here and see if we can get it out. Cylinders usually don't have a lot of problems because they're, you know, a more substantial piece of material, but sometimes they do. Yeah, that's, I'm going to work on that just a little bit, I think. Okay, we got most of it. Just a little bit right here. I believe that it's inside the sealing ring, so it should be fine. So we'll stop at that. The rest of it looks real good. Okay, guys. Give this piston a measure, and we're measuring at about 10 millimeters. I've got it marked here, 10 millimeters from the bottom of the skirt. And we're right at 2.045. So I plug that into my dial bore gauge setting. And let me lift you up here just a little bit. So we're at about 1 4/10,000. A little higher up. Pretty much the same. Looks like about 1 almost 6/10,000. This is a pretty straight bore. it's a little narrower there at 1 3/10,000ths. And 1 4/10,000ths. That's pretty good. Let me get a light here. It's after our bore job. Our honing. Just used a ball hone on this. We're not trying to increase any size or anything like that. Matter of fact, we're trying not to. All we want to do is deglaze it. You saw that I didn't or hone it very long, and that really cleaned up nice. So we need to check now and see what our ring gap is. Oh, what was the piston cylinder clearance supposed to be? Between 1 2/10,000ths. And we're exceeding that a little bit, but I think that's okay. That's really that's really pretty tight on these cast iron cylinders and aluminum pistons. I remember doing the old Hodakas, and they were 3.5 to 4/1000ths. So I'm really surprised at this. Come right out of the book. And let's see here, our ring gap. I'm going to put that in down here this is the least worn area. That's where they want you to check that. Now if you just bored it, not a big deal. You can do it anywhere. Let's see here. And these are supposed to be 6 to 14. And that's a nice drag right there at 12/1000ths, 0.30 millimeters. All right, let's get the other one here. If I can get that off of it, there we go. And it's a little tighter than the other one at the same 12. So we're within spec there. So I think we can head back into the build maybe. Let me clean up some stuff and we'll get to it. All right, let's go ahead and get the gasket on. It's a good fit. And we'll get some oil on our bearing here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get my paper towels back in here again. Just good insurance, guys. Okay, I've got the rings on. Everything looks good. They're setting down in there like they ought to. Got our arrow right here that goes towards the exhaust port. And we're just going to get a little oil in both sides of the piston pin groove there and work it in with the pinky a little bit. And same thing with our pin. Cleaned up real nice. There we go. And I've got to put a keeper in both sides. And where's our... That's one of them. Where's the other one at? Pin on the piston, that's what I'm looking for. Now I'll have to turn it around and see if I can find it, I guess. Get my keepers in. There it is. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna get a little oil in our ring grooves. This other pin is way over here on the other side on this one. Usually they're within just a few degrees of one another. These are a lot further away. And then we'll get some Yamaha lube in the cylinder. All right. Got one in. I have to get you out of the way here. And so you can see a little better too, maybe. And I've got to try to squeeze this in a different area here. Oops, I think I just lost the first one. There we go. There it is. Okay, I think it's already a less movement in there. Yeah, should be okay. Just let that drop down a little bit so I don't get the oil coming out. Okay guys, I don't know what the deal is. I guess I just don't understand what the gentleman was telling me. I guess I can always change it, but I don't think it really matters. It just is a gee whiz thing. Okay, his words exactly was the flat edge fins go down. So I'm thinking that this is the flat edge and this is not. And that's the way it came off. And it puts this boss at the bottom. Flat edge fins. I don't see anything. I don't know. I'm gonna put it back on the way it came off. I guess I just don't understand what he's trying to tell me. That's possible. I mean, I'm certainly not the best thinking guy here sometimes. And I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in these, like I always do. And these are 7mm studs, and I cannot find anything as far as torque value for 7mm. 7mm one, I think one is the thread pitch. So about the only thing I can do is kind of go in between a 6 and an 8 for my torque. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay guys, we're going to kind of wing it here. I think I'll go to about 120 inch-pounds, and we'll do it in increments here. I've got it set at 60 right now. There's a brake. There's a brake. There's the brake. And there's the brake. So we'll run it up to about 80. And 100. most of these Yamaha manuals, or anyway the newer ones, like around the 70s, they give you a torque chart and just by size, and there's not one in this manual. And I looked online looking for 7mm, and none exists, so not sure what they did here. Okay, that's 120. See, 8mm was 190 inch-pounds, and 6mm was 79 inch-pounds. So maybe I'll go to 130. Okay, we're going to hope for the best. Okay, got her off the stand, and we'll get our spark plug back in. Wished I would have liked to have cleaned those nuts up and replated them, but just for that it's a lot of work, and it's kind of smelly, so I'm not going to look at them. It's okay. We're pretty good shape there. At least our top end's ready to go, and it's got pretty good compression. Of course, I don't have much advantage here, but that's our top end build. We got a new set of rings in it. The bore is, slightly loose, but nothing to write home about. Should work just fine. All right, there we go. We got to get our carburetor built up. I got a new float for it. Looks better than the old one. And this is the vent back here. The hose broke off of it, so I've got to repair that. And really that's about it. We can go ahead and probably stick it back in the frame and deal with anything that we need to deal with now. But there it is, the YL2C with a new top end, or new rings anyway, we'll call it that. Should run better since it did have a stuck ring. That second ring was stuck, actually broke as we was taking it out. Okay guys, there you have it. The YL2C is ready to go back in the frame, and I'm not sure when we're going to do that. It may be the next one, I don't know. If I get the Honda parts in, I'll probably do that. But I've also got a fabrication thing coming up where I'm going to make a clutch actuator and a case saver. It's kind of all in one for the 250 MX Yamaha project. So stay tuned for that too. So we've got at least 3 things coming along, and we'll be getting that Kawasaki F7 back in too pretty shortly. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride, and we'll see you next video.